Yeah, you need a window or something. You need some like natural light. You need some vitamin A.
Nope.
What do you mean?
D.
Nope. Oh, whatever. Because vitamin D.
Nope.
I need to start getting you some supplements. I'm getting for Christmas. I'm getting you multivitamins.
I take them.
Do you?
Yep, every day.
You need some different ones.
I just need a different colleague.
That was one of that I'm only half joking laugh.
This is the AT Banter Podcast, a balanced and entertaining look at assistive technology, accessibility, and its importance in people's lives. Join Rob Minot, Ryan Fleury, and Steve Barclay as they banter with people around the world about anything and everything regarding assistive technology and the disability community. Now, on with the show.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of AT Banter.
Banter.
My name is Robino.
Robino?
Shit, I did it again, didn't I? My name is
Maid
Rob
Marian.
Minot. Joining me today is Maid Marian.
Hey, that's me.
And Steve, no, I'm sorry. I'll go back. Joining me today is Ryan Fleury
That's still me.
and Steve Barclay.
I have a much lower voice than that.
Yeah, here we are.
We are.
Yeah. The enthusiasm is palpable.
Hey, well, at least it's better than recording on Mondays.
That's true.
At least we're more chipper than we were last summer.
Yeah.
We were recording on Mondays all the time.
Well, next week's a Monday show.
What?
What? I thought we were done with that.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
why?
when guests are available. Sam from The Blind Life could only do Monday.
Sam, damn it. What are you doing to us, man?
Mondays.
Yep.
Oh, well, he's got to deal with it, so.
Yeah, that's right. He's got to put up with us,
Yeah.
our whining.
Yeah.
What's new? What's going on?
Well, this past weekend, we went to the Blind Beginnings Gala.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true, we
How was
did.
that?
That was pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The room was full again.
Yeah. Some good music, some great prizes.
Lots of money being spent.
Yep.
Oh, good. So they, it was, I don't know, anything interesting happened? Anyone get drunk and fall down?
No, we saw your ex-wife.
Oh, good.
Oh, was she there?
Yeah, she was there.
Oh, was she?
Wonderful.
No, she didn't talk to you?
No, I didn't.
I'm not surprised. She never liked you.
Well, Sophia didn't talk to me either. She was standing right beside me, so nobody likes me. I understand that.
Wah, wah. Interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
What's cool is there was a hugging corner.
That's right.
Yes, you could go up and get a hug.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Yep.
It's actually a business now that you can actually hire a hug.
Yeah, Liz Charnia, who used to work for the CNIB in Vancouver, has a new business called Hug Wellness. And in the greater Vancouver area, you can dispatch her to go hug somebody. You can hire her for events.
Yep.
And have her set up a hugging booth for you at events. And let me tell you, she was giving out free samples, and Liz can hug. She's a
Good hugger.
excellent hugger.
Interesting.
I highly recommend the Mama Bear from her menu.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, she's got a menu. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you can pick your hug off of it. Yeah,
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of brilliant.
yeah, it is.
Is there like a creepy uncle hug?
I'm sure you could develop one.
I would like I'd like a creepy uncle. uncomfortable coworker hug. Borderline sexual harassment hug.
You can pitch these ideas too.
Yeah, I will. I'll help her expand the menu.
Yeah.
The air hug, the one that
Yeah.
try not to.
Try not to touch in any way. Yeah.
Hey Ryan,
Yeah, Rob.
what are we doing today?
Today we were talking with co-founder of Envision AI, Karthik Kannan.
Yeah, this is an interesting little app. Have you had a chance to play with it?
Very briefly. I had installed it, kind of forgot about it, opened it up, and I think I had like a day left in my trial. So,
Oops.
Yeah, very, very briefly.
Well, I figured you'd be all over this thing because unlike a lot of apps that are like this, and we should just actually describe to people what it actually is. You want to do that? Go for it.
Sure. It's an app very similar to Seeing AI that has the ability to recognize text, handwriting, barcodes, all sorts of functionality that is continually being developed and improved.
You can describe a scene.
Describes a scene. Yeah. It's available on iOS and Android.
Okay, hold on. Let's try it right now. Hold on. Let's see. I'll take a picture of Ryan. It's probably your headphones that's confusing it. It's like, what? What is that?
It's a mouse.
Yeah, that's right.
Large mouse sitting on a couch.
It's a giant rat.
It'll come back with, there is a man being
Looks
eaten
like
by
a
a
person
couch.
sitting in a living room.
Oh, there you go.
Boom. See, take that as a compliment. It says
I'm a person.
It says yeah, well, that too. It says the guitar dungeon looks like a living room.
Yep.
Boom. There you go.
Well, he practically lives down here.
That's true.
Pretty much.
That's true. That's why he's grumpy all the time.
Yep.
Hey, you know what? You know what we should do before we talk about anything else? We should talk about our big announcement.
What big announcement?
You know exactly what big
I
announcement.
know nothing.
Don't play stupid.
Oh,
with me.
you totally know.
nothing.
He does know.
We were
it
just
is.
talking about it a minute ago, and now we're recording, and you're going to deny it all?
Such an actor.
Denial.
Go ahead, Ryan. Give it the big announcement. Give a drum roll.
No, you give the announcement because you know what's going on.
I can only hold on to this drum roll for so long. Let's get on with it.
So, okay, that's enough drum roll. Okay. We are announcing our big 150th episode, which is coming up in a few weeks. We've decided to do something a little different. We are doing a live show. We're going to give people the opportunity to join in our room, ask us questions, visit, say how much they love us,
Hang out a little bit.
hang out. We're going to be talking stuff, whatever the topic of the day is. We'll probably be talking some news. We're going to be probably having some tequila.
Yeah, we'll talk about what you want to talk about.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of an open forum, and it's going to be May. What's the date, Ryan?
It's going to be on May 2nd at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time.
That's 8 o'clock Eastern.
That's right. So what we're going to be doing, we'll be publishing.
No, wait, what?
What?
It's not 8 o'clock Eastern. It's 8:30 Eastern.
No, it's 8.
It's
What?
3 hours.
3 hours.
It shows at 5:30.
Oh, 5:30. Sorry, I thought you said 5. Okay, so it's 8:30. There we go.
Already confusion.
See, I'm not even listening
That's
to it.
rewind.
Okay.
No, keep it in. That's kind of stupid.
So yeah, we're going to be using Zoom. We'll be posting the link probably within the next week or so. People will be able to click on that and join us when it's time, and we'll go from there.
Well, and if you can't join us, feel free to send us a voice file or a voice recording that we can play on the show as well.
An email at cowbell@atbanter.com. It's a bit of a birthday show, so those are always a little wild around here. I don't even remember the last birthday show.
You have to supply your own tequila.
Wait, what?
Yeah, viewers. They have.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, what?
We're not sending tequila to everybody.
Is there an emoji for tequila? We can send some tequila emojis.
Should be. There's like this one that's green. There's a green face that looks like it's throwing up. That might be.
Yeah, that's a spring break emoji. That's perfectly
funny.
appropriate.
We'll be announcing it every week until then ad nauseum, and we'll be posting it all over our social media and on the website. So we'll look forward to seeing people there. Hey, Steve, why don't you tell the fine folks about Canadian Assistive Technology?
Well, Canadian Assistive Technology is a Canadian-based distributor of, guess what? Assistive technology.
I would not have guessed that.
Really? Oh, I got to work something better into the name then. And we do all kinds of low vision and blindness aids, as well as all kinds of physical access aids and accessible furniture. You name it. Visit our website at www.canastech.com.
Rick, let me ask you about this. Chaos Technical Services.
Chaos Technical Services.
Don't sound so excited about it. Woo! Speaking of repairs,
We are the sister company to Canas Tech. We do the repairs on low vision devices, reading machines, for libraries, braille printers, and pretty well anything in between. We can be found at www.chaostechnicalservices.com.
Joining us now is Karthik Kannan, co-founder of Envision AI. Karthik joining me in the room today. I'm Ryan, by the way. And we've got Steve Barclay.
Hello there.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
Excellent.
And Rob Minot.
hello.
Hi, Rob. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. I've got coffee. I had to think about it for a second because the coffee hasn't quite kicked in yet, but there's a slight delay
Nice.
with the neurons.
Yeah, how's the weather there at your place? I mean, here it's just starting to be spring in the Netherlands, and it's still sunny outside, so it's a nice thing.
Wait, is that where you are? Are you in the Netherlands?
Yeah, so we're based out of the Netherlands, and we have our office here in the Netherlands, and that's where I'm based out of. Yeah.
All right, we're on our way.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
coming to visit. You got a guest room?
Definitely. Oh, you guys should. Like, now is the perfect time. It's the tulip season here in the Netherlands,
Oh, nice.
so you're gonna have a lot of stuff to see around here now. Yeah.
Yeah, our weather's not too bad. We're in spring now too. It's a little damp, but
Okay.
things are looking brighter.
Yeah. Ah, nice. Yeah, it's always it's my favorite time of the year. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's dive right into things. So, tell us, give us a real brief overview of the Envision AI app. Just maybe a snapshot of exactly what it does.
Sure. So Envision AI is an app that speaks out all kinds of visual information that's in front of you. So it can help people read text, recognize faces, recognize objects, and so much more. The app is available on both iOS and Android, and it's been around for almost a year and a half now. And the app is used by people from across the world. And it's really good at, I would say it's really good at reading text. That's what people use it a lot for. But of late, we've been doing a lot of improvements with object recognition, and people are slowly gravitating towards that within the app as well. So that's a brief overview of the app. And the app is available free to download for a no strings attached 14-day trial from the App Store. And you can just download the app on both iOS and Android. And after 14 days, there is a subscription fee that's attached to the app. So you can pay $5 per month and $40 per annum, and you can just buy it outright for $200. And that's basically Envision in a nutshell. Yeah.
So right out of the gate, what I'll say is fairly unique. Is that you guys are available on both iOS and Android.
Yeah.
What we've seen from a lot of these. From similar apps is that they're usually available on one platform or another. Was that sort of a goal initially when you started developing the app? Is that, look, we want to launch this on both platforms?
Definitely. Like right from day one, when we were designing the product, when we were building the early iOS version and the AI that's behind it, all that was just aimed towards making it as cross-platform as possible. So much so that, even the Envision smart glasses would use the same technology as the app that is being used right now. So yeah, we designed it from day one to be as cross-platform and as global as possible. So that's been our aim. And the Android app, of course, is a little complex, and there's a lot of reasons why developers, tend to gravitate to either one or the other, because just managing one platform nowadays itself is a very complex thing to do. And but since the design of it from the beginning was to make it available on both these platforms, we somehow managed to do that pretty well. Yeah.
How do you separate yourself from other products like this? Like, for example, the Microsoft Seeing AI.
Yeah. I think there are a couple of ways where we actually go ahead and distinguish ourselves. I think the most important thing, I could give you a bunch of reasons, but I think the most important thing is definitely the fact that we're really clued into the community, and we're a much more community-driven app than most apps out there. So right from the beginning, the app has been sort of, we get active feedback from users. We listen to users. In fact, one of the most used features within the app is this feature called Request a Call, where users can give us a call and then we directly, have a chat with them and help them out with issues and so on. So I think community-driven aspect is one. But I think in terms of the accuracy when it comes to text recognition or when it comes to object recognition, we're definitely better. We're also heavily localized. So unlike other apps like Seeing AI, which are only available to the English-speaking community, we're available pretty much across the world in over 60 different languages. So you can talk about Arabic, Hebrew, Chinese, Hindi. We're available in all those languages as well. And we have a lot more features, that are more than what Seeing AI has, and stuff that's also in the pipeline. For example, we have this feature called Scan and Find, which allows you to scan for objects in real time, just like how you scan for text. We have the option to import PDFs and be able to read PDFs, and it also works as a bit of a PDF reader as well. And so on and so forth. So we do have features that differentiate us, but the primary driver, I would say, is the community and the fact that we are a lot more international than most apps you would find on the market.
So now you guys have been out for just over a year. How long was it in development for?
It's been in development for, I think, almost 2.5 years now. So Envision started off as a thesis of my, my co-founder. So basically, he gave a talk at a blind school in India about 2.5 years ago, and this whole and Envision started off as a result of that conversation that he was having with visually impaired high schoolers back in India, and the thesis went on for almost a year. So during that thesis, what used to happen was he used to talk to a lot of visually impaired people in the Netherlands, and then I used to build prototypes based on the insights that he got. And we used to have this back and forth going on for almost 6 to 8 months. At the end of the thesis, a lot of the folks that we spoke to strongly felt that if we really wanted to see this out in the market, then we have to do this full time and we have to do this as a company. And that's when we decided to start up. So Envision as a concept, as an idea, has been in development for almost 2.5 years. Yeah.
Now, and I don't know how much of this you can really talk about, but maybe, again, just give us a bit of a layman's snapshot of how does the app work? What kind of technology does it utilize? Sure.
So the app, in really simple terms, the app just takes an image, any image that you give it, or any visual information that you give it, and basically processes that information according to what kind of actions you'd want to take on that image. So if I give it an image and I say I want to know all the text in that image, the AI within the app goes ahead and looks for text within that image. Now, if you give it an image or a video feed and say I want to look for specific objects, the AI basically goes ahead and tries to find specific objects in that image or a video feed, and that's really like the layman terms of how this works. Going into the technical details a little bit more, the app uses what is today called deep learning to help, to actually do the tasks of text recognition or object recognition and so on. And it's a mix of stuff that happens on the phone and stuff that happens on the cloud. So we have some AI tools within the phone itself. And so, for example, offline text recognition or object recognition, all that stuff happens on device. There are some, actions which are at the moment too difficult for us to fit on a phone, and so they happen on a cloud server. So, for example, things like handwriting recognition or things like document recognition, all that stuff happens on the cloud. So we have two kinds of AI tools within the app, and eventually, what we want to do is we want to have all of the AI work happening on device, so it's fast and it's a lot more accurate that way as well. Yeah.
So now AI, deep learning, neural networks, these are all sort of buzzwords that are
definitely
floating around a lot these days. And it does seem like it's a hot technology right now, even though it's sort of it's still very much evolving. It's still very much at its infancy. How does that impact you guys? Is the technology sort of constantly always getting better so that you're always able to improve the app?
Yeah, in a way, yes. So I totally agree to the fact that today AI and deep learning and all those things are a lot more buzzwords than actual real stuff, and companies sort of throw them around and make tall claims. But early on, I have a research background, and in my research background, one of the things that I really try to focus on is to separate the hype from what's real. And that's something that we do really well at Envision. So when we look at some new, advancement in neural networks or in new advancements in object recognition or some part of AI, we're pretty much able to go ahead and separate what's hype and what's real. And there are lots of developments that are happening really fast, and we do incorporate a lot of new developments as and when they tend to happen. And some of the tools that we use within Envision are actually at the very cutting edge of AI research. Some of the tools that we use within Envision were actually released to the public only about 6 or 7 months ago. We do incorporate such technologies as well, but you have to be very careful. You need to be really careful about what the technology can do and not really make tall claims about it. So it does help us with advancements in the field. And we do try to incorporate them as much as we can within the app, and deploy it at scale, basically.
Well, and it's an interesting marketplace right now because, here in North America, there's a service called Ira. I'm sure you're familiar with it. And it's getting a lot of traction, and it's fairly popular. I think it's interesting because, that I think that shows that there's definitely a demand for this type of service. But, the part of the problem with Ira is that there's still that human component to it. You're still connecting to a human who's sort of, an agent who is walking you through the scene. And I think that's a little, for as great as that service is, don't get me wrong, but I think that, even they are recognized that human agent part of it, has a limited shelf life. They're actively working on an AI component of that service as well. I think that it's all, AI is just going to be the way that all these types of services will go.
Exactly. I totally agree with that. I totally agree that, humans are not entirely scalable. And that's the reason why AI is getting popular. But I also believe that it's going to be an AI plus human combination that really delivers the most value. I always believe that it's best to have a human in the loop when it comes to these things. So while AI can really offload a lot of the tasks, I think even into the near future, say about 5 or 7 years, or even 10 years for that matter, we're still going to depend on humans to do a lot of the tasks that AI won't be able to do as reliably. So I think it's like at Envision, we really want to build tools that empower humans in combination with AI. So that's the kind of tools that we want to build, and that's the kind of future we sort of envision as well. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the team itself. How big is the team?
Yeah, the team is about 8 people now. So we have the 2 founders. So there's me, Karthik Kannan, and I handle all the product and technology stuff at Envision. There's Karthik Mahadevan, who handles all the design stuff, and he also works a bit on the growth side of things as well. We have 2 team members, Daphne and Irene, who work with us on B2B and B2C sales. So they really help us, do community outreach and so on. We have Kshitij, who is our Android developer. So he comes in with a lot of Android experience, and he's like the main driver behind the Android app. We also have Yese, who is a community tester. He's a community manager at Envision, and he's also our alpha tester. So he's like the go-to guy for testing any of the tools that we have. Or any of the new software, so he's like the go-to guy for us to test. And we also have like an iOS engineer on board who's helping us out with the iOS app development and so on. So that's all of us in total.
Yeah. I'm honestly, like, I'm a little shocked because that seems to be a fairly small team for what you guys have accomplished. So no wonder you guys are there till 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I mean, we are a small team. We're definitely growing, but yeah, I think we believe in like hiring really effective people versus hiring a lot of people to do a task. So yeah, we are a tight knit team, but we get stuff done at the end of the day.
Just keep in mind, Steve's Ryan and I's boss, so don't say things like that.
Actually, if you take the three of us together in this room, we sort of form one fairly effective person.
Fairly.
Yeah.
We can put pants on.
Yeah.
So you made reference to Envision smart glasses earlier. Is there a product like that?
Yes, we're actually working on it very actively now. We are, I would say, in mid to late prototyping stage with the app, with the glasses. Sorry. So we've tried out a couple of glasses that are already there in the market. So our approach is to not really work with our own. We don't want to build our own smart glasses, or we don't want to get into that side of things. What we want to do is we want to take off-the-shelf smart glasses and port the Envision app to work with them, and give users as many options as they can possibly have with these glasses. So we're working with smart glasses. We're also working with wearable cameras. So you can have cameras that you can wear around like a necklace, and walk around. So that's something that we're also, working with. So hopefully by the end of the year, we should have something out for people to start purchasing. That's the timeline that we're aiming towards.
Is that a bit of a process, like trying to decide on which smart glasses you're going to go with? Do you kind of have to run through, several different products before you sort of land on the right one for Envision?
Definitely. That's like the most exhausting bit of the prototyping right now. So the most exhausting bit is just like getting those smart glasses in and testing them out with users, and then like spending a few weeks developing or porting the app to work with those smart glasses, testing them out, and then checking, either discarding them or then trying to do more testing with them. So that's like an extremely exhaustive aspect of it. But we're also working with, we also make sure to screen the glasses beforehand, and to see and we try and pick and choose glasses which we think will work for us in the first place. And we're also talking to a few partners within EU, within the Netherlands, who are trying to work with us to come up with a custom solution of sorts for the glasses that they work with. So yeah, it's a long process. Trust me, it's just really annoying a lot of times to spend so much effort into porting your software to a particular glasses and then trying them out only to know that, hey, okay, this is not going to work out with the users. So that's a difficult process, but yeah, we're getting there.
Well, and smart glasses is it's a really interesting product because, again, like there are really getting to be so many out there, and it's still something that really hasn't set the mainstream on fire.
Definitely. Like I think smart glasses are still up and coming. Yeah. There are some really good candidates out there. Definitely, some like a few guys who are sort of ahead of the curve, more than the rest of them. But I think it's still going to take some time to go mainstream, and I'm really hoping that Apple or Google puts out an updated version of the Google Glass, either by Google or Apple puts out their smart glasses, because that's when this whole stuff would go mainstream. And but we're going to be ready for that future when it comes.
Well, and that must be exciting for you guys too, because you guys kind of are at the vanguard of this really evolving technology that is really, at its beginnings, and you guys are right there and developing for it already. So you guys must be really excited.
Definitely. I mean, we get to see a lot of things that I think is going to take about a year or two to become mainstream or to become known to the public. We see technologies like that, and we try to, build with that technology, keeping in mind that, okay, maybe a year down the line, this is going to get really popular, a year or two down the line, that's going to get really popular. So we're really trying to make those bets right now from a development and from a product development perspective. And hopefully they pay off. But it's super exciting. It's extremely exciting to see what's happening. And we're at the intersection of wearable technology and, mobile AI. That's the intersection that we're in, and it's an extremely interesting intersection. Imagine being able to run offline OCR on your smart glasses, and you're just walking down the street and you're able to just look at stuff and read it. That's the kind of technology that we're sort of experimenting with right now, and it's super exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, there are plenty of mainstream applications to a lot of this technology as well. So
yeah,
it will sort of be interesting to see going forward if eventually features like that are in Envision AI will just be baked into just like a mainstream app that everybody will use, and we'll get this sort of idea of a fully accessible, say, pair of wearables.
Yeah, like I'm super excited for that, and that's actually part of our long-term vision. Our long-term vision is to really build tools that enable and enhance vision. So at this point, from what we see, we think the current technologies in object recognition or OCR and things like that really applies at the moment to the visually impaired community, and we believe that we can use those tools to enable vision. But what we actually see, say 5 years down the line, is all these tools really enhancing the vision of everyday users, and that really goes well with our tagline. Our tagline is "See what you can't," and right now that applies to visually impaired people, but I'm pretty sure that a few years down the line, it's going to apply to all of us, and all of us are going to be able to see beyond just what our eyes can see. That's the kind of future that we're working towards.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I really do think that in the next 3 to 5 years, smart glasses are really going to catch fire. You're going to see a lot of people. It's going to be the next thing. It's going to be the next smartphone, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're really seeing that happen in a lot of places. We're seeing that, for example, with visual question answers. So that's like a really hot area of computer vision right now, where you can basically go ahead and ask an AI questions, and it can answer. Like, for example, you can just give it an image, and you can say how many people are sitting in this photograph, and it can go ahead and count the number of people. You can say what color is the T-shirt of the person, and so on. So we really see such technologies at its infancy in Envision, and that kind of technology is not just going to help visually impaired people, but even sighted people in the future. Sure. The stuff that we're doing with object recognition today helps visually impaired people, but tomorrow it could help a person go ahead and easily find a piece of clothing online that someone else is wearing down the street, and so on. It's limitless, and that's super exciting.
Sure, and you roll stuff like facial recognition into that too. I mean, you can literally have the AI describe who the person is, what they're wearing, what they're standing in front of. You can really dissect an entire image right down to its core components.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's super exciting for us. And another area that's really exciting for us is privacy, and privacy in a very AI-driven world. Because at Envision, we really think a lot about privacy. We really spend a lot of time, making sure that the technologies that we use are really privacy conscious. And that's also like a field that's going to really boom in the coming years, because people are a lot more aware of how important privacy is.
Sure.
And privacy conscious AI is something that we're also like working towards. And we also see that happening in other areas of the field. And that's something we're really excited about as well.
Let's talk a little bit about AI, because there is that darker side of AI that people talk about as well.
Yeah. So when's your app taking over NORAD?
Never. I mean, yeah, like I think the hype around AI or AI being this really scary Terminator like thing, that's a little overblown. But what I'm really scared about is bias in AI. That's a topic that people don't really talk about as much, because the AI that we build is often a reflection of our own biases, and that bias is something to be more afraid of than like AI getting too super intelligent and taking over humanity and destroying it all. I mean I see the bias in AI being a bigger problem than the whole superhuman AI stuff. That's just too far-fetched in my opinion. But the bias in AI thing is a more urgent problem that we have to solve.
Can you give us an example of that?
I mean, for example, there are lots of stories of how it starts with the data set, right? So if your data set, for example, tries to profile criminals, just giving you an example, right? And if you build your data set with a certain bias, or if you don't check your data set for bias, it can start to really act up. So it can start, say, recognizing people of a certain race or of a certain color as criminals, whereas the other people in the data, they might not have enough representation in the data set. So there are lots of cases where the bias begins with the data set itself. And since the model is trained on a data set which is biased in the first place, that ends up being a problem. So that's what I mean by bias in AI. Right.
Yeah.
So this is actually stuff that happens a lot in the real world as well. Where there was a lot of bias in AI data sets, and today there is a lot of awareness. So people are trying to build more representation into the data sets, and that's pretty much what's happening basically.
Well, we have a pretty good example of a president just south of us who seems to be working off of a false data set.
Yeah, to say the least. Not sure where he gets his data sets.
Yeah, but it's important to be aware of that bias, and because as more businesses start to sell AI as like the ultimate cure for all your problems, this is going to get more mainstream, and it's going to get more difficult for us to spot if we're not really careful about it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, and especially since, there's this perception when you say AI, you think, well, okay, this is infallible almost. And you're right. I mean, if there's bias like at the development level programmed right into it, then, it's not going to be as visible to sort of the user as.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, there needs to be not just, that comes when you have more diversity in the teams that build these AI tools, so that everyone's more sensitive and attuned to bias itself in the first place. So I'm a big believer in like having very diverse tech teams that build these AIs, and companies should have an AI ethics board or some kind of supervisory board that whose job is to just look and constantly think about, is our data set biased? Is our AI biased? What can we do to fix it? And I think that's super important.
Well, and that's an interesting thought. And, I am almost positive that that's something we'll see as AI becomes a thing, is that, AI ethics.
It is a thing.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is actually a thing. I think, Stanford has a course that's dedicated exclusively to AI ethics. And there are lots of universities and companies sort of waking up to the fact that, reckless or real putting in too much trust in AI is not always the best thing. So that's actually a real thing that's happening in the last a year or so. I'm seeing lots of universities, lots of companies adopting this whole AI ethics stuff. Yeah. That's healthy.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, now that you guys are talking about that, I do remember like reading articles especially about the driverless cars stuff. And when they're talking about programming those and like programming in these moral dilemmas, like, if the car's about to hit a pedestrian, does it swerve to miss this pedestrian and kill the occupant, or does it kill the pedestrian to save the occupant? Type of, these these ethical situations, and that all that stuff has to be programmed in.
See, that's an easy one. You kill the pedestrian because they didn't put the car.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, no, but you laugh, but I'm pretty sure that I read somewhere that something like Volvo, like they programmed their cars to swerve to miss the pedestrian, but Mercedes was like, no, you save the occupant. If you're driving a Benz,
that's okay.
You want.
See, and that's the difference between a luxury car.
That's right. You laugh, but it's true. It's true. There's.
It's like, that car I'm about to hit, is it a Toyota or is it a Lexus?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a competitor car, then you take it out.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is.
See, that's why you need a split thing where it's like facial recognition. You can look up the person's record. The person I can hit, did he vote for Trump? Oh, he did? Okay, just run him over.
Easy.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
How much of our audience is down south?
I jest. JK, I love you. Love you all. Love everybody.
Half now.
Let's hope we're reaching those in the Netherlands.
So anything you want to talk about the app that we haven't sort of hit on in terms of what it can do, or things that you guys have got in the pipeline?
I think we have a bunch of stuff in the pipeline. So one of the things that we're like super excited about that came out, the update for that came out just 2 or 3 days ago. It's a major or like a major update to our scan and find tab. So we have 3 tabs within the app. So we have the text tab, which has all the text recognition stuff. So being able to read instantly, and handwriting and documents and so on. And then we have the general tab, which contains stuff like scene description and barcode recognition and so on. And then we have the scan and find tab. The scan and find tab is basically where you can scan for particular objects or people in the surrounding, and it can let you know if it sees it's in the surrounding. So that's something we just launched about 2 days ago, and it's been getting really good reception from our users. So they're now able to go ahead and detect common objects in their surroundings, and when they take their phone around and keep pointing it around, it just beeps when the object is in frame. And we're going to double down on that. We're going to go ahead and make sure that people know the position. People can possibly also know the distance from the object, and it can also go ahead and detect faces in real time. So if you have a face trained with Envision, that can also you can also go ahead and detect that as well in the surroundings. So that's something that we're really excited about. That can do what text recognition is and what instant text is to text recognition to all the users of our app. This is going to be something for folks who are into object recognition as well. That's something we're super excited about. And the glasses, of course, are something that we are like working on pretty actively right now. And that's in the pipeline as well. And hopefully we'll have something to show everyone soon. Yeah. These are like the 2 big things that we're working on right now. Apart from that, of course, we have an update coming out almost every 2 weeks. So you can expect stuff like currency recognition and light detection and all that, all the normal stuff. And also we're working on a couple of, big features that it's a little early to talk about because we still need to do a lot of user validation and user testing, which is the concepts. But yeah, they're going to be huge when they come out.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to that. So, Karthik, if people are interested in Envision, where can they find you guys?
So they can find us on the App Store and the Google Play Store. So they can just search for Envision AI. That's ENVISION AI, or just search for Envision, and we're going to show up there. So you can find us there as well.
Perfect. And the app does come with a 2-week completely free trial, correct?
Yes. 2-week. Absolutely no strings attached free trial. So you can try it out, and if you like it, you can go ahead and take a subscription. Else, we're going to be sad.
Karthik, thanks so much for burning the midnight oil and talking to us tonight.
Not a problem at all. I mean, thanks for having me. It's been great chatting with you guys.
Perfect. And best of luck with the app. And we'll check back in with you maybe when the glasses are out and talk to you again.
Yeah, sure thing. Would really like to, chat with you guys as well once we have an early prototype of the glasses out, and we'll have once we have a definite date in sight, we'll go ahead and chat with you guys as well on that.
That sounds good. Okay, Karthik, have a great evening.
All right.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Interesting. I see, Ryan, I thought you'd be pretty excited about that app for the fact that it's, I've never seen an app like this that's been released for both platforms. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that part of it's interesting. You know, again, I have the Seeing AI app on my iPhone. I have the trial version, or I had the trial of Envision AI, but like I mentioned earlier, I haven't had a lot of time to play with it, so I might pay for a month's subscription and just do a comparison of the two. But it's great. We have more options.
Options are good.
Mm-hmm.
It amazes me that an 8-person team were able to not only build this app, but on both iOS and Android. I mean, how many times did we talk to the Microsoft guys and ask them about that, and they're just like, oh well, we gotta we're just focusing on developing for iOS right now, blah 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 blah. And here's these guys, 8-person team, boom.
Yep.
They both platforms. So that.
Well, I think that shows that I think if you do the research, the trends of blind and partially sighted individuals strictly staying with iOS is shifting. Android's becoming more mature, it's becoming more accessible, and with Android you have a lot more choice on the device you want to use. So I think that's shifting.
Well, therein lies the issue, I think, because these guys have developed for multiple languages, so they're covering a larger swath of the world than Microsoft is with Seeing AI.
Yeah.
And in the section of the world that that iPhones are super popular, it tends to be the more affluent nations.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, sure.
So the cheaper phones out there are Android phones.
Right.
So if they're going to address the needs of those those communities in lower income parts of the world, they need.
That's true.
Yep.
They need it.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Huh.
Good on them.
Yeah, amazing. I mean,
60 languages.
These guys. So, I'd recommend anybody, and if 2-week free trial, people, like, it can't hurt. Go check it out.
Yeah, go play.
Give it a try. And if you like it, sign up, subscribe. Was it $5 a month, I think, American?
I think it's $8 US.
Is it $8 US?
Yeah. I think it's like $7.49.
But it sounds like there's also an option to just buy out completely, right?
Yeah, there's monthly, there's annually, and then there's lifetime.
Yeah, so there you go.
$200 US lifetime.
The way I eat, not worth it.
KD and Chef Boyardee.
Yeah. Not going to get $200 worth of
You don't think your lifetime is that long?
I don't know.
The way he eats,
No, because I think
not.
Ryan's going to kill me one of these days.
I just need my self-driving car and just tell it, okay, if you see Rob Minot or you see like a pole, aim for Rob Minot.
That's right. Search and destroy. The Terminator car.
That's right.
Oh, boy. All right.
I love you, Rob.
I know. I love you too. Buddy.
Oh, I feel the love.
And you feel... Oh, I'm going to send Liz out to give you a hug.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you can afford her.
Get her to give you the mama bear.
All right.
Hey, Ryan.
Rob.
Where can people find us?
atbanter.com.
They can also email us if they so desire. Cowbell.
Oh. Wait for it. Yeah, all right.
Let's try that again. Cowbell at atbanter.com. Where else can they find us?
Well, we're on Facebook, ATBanter.
And we're on Twitter, ATBanter.
AT_Banter.
Oh, I'm sorry, AT_Banter, yes. And Instagram, ATBanter.
Hey, have you guys noticed on the podcast feeds that there's some jerk who's taken our word? There's like another Banter podcast.
Oh, there's a bunch, actually, yeah.
Yeah, but they've only got 107 episodes. We've got damn near 150 now.
Yeah.
So they ought to give that word back to us. Jerks. How dare they steal our word?
Yeah.
It was there first.
Yep.
What else? Did we do everything? Yeah, I guess that's it. Eh?
We did.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then we're going to get out of here. Thanks, everybody, for listening in yet again. And we'll see everybody next week.
This podcast has been brought to you by Canadian Assistive Technology, providing low vision and blindness solutions across Canada. Find us online at www.canastech.com. That's CANASSTECH.com. Or call us toll free at 1-844-795-8324. For all your assistive technology servicing needs, call Chaos Technical Services at 778-847-6840 or find them online at chaostechnicalservices.com. Music provided by bensound.com.
Whoa, look at that. Master of the one take.